back here. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden and Republican Vice Presidential candidate Paul Ryan clashed over a wide array of domestic and foreign policy issues Thursday night in the only debate of this year's presidential campaign. VOA national correspondent Jim Malone has more of their verbal jousting.
And Governor Romney
Vice President Joe Biden set an aggressive tone throughout.
What we're saying, more people signed
these are from your own actuaries.
Biden and Republican Vice Presidential candidate Paul Ryan clashed over several foreign policy issues, including last month's attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, which killed U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. Republicans have accused the Obama administration of not providing enough security for the Americans in Libya, prompting this exchange.
It makes us more weak. It projects weakness, and when we look weak, our adversaries are much more willing to test us. They're more brazen in their attacks. And
with all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey. Not a single thing he said is accurate. I will be very specific. This lecture on embassy security, the congressman here cut embassy security in his budget by $300 million below what we asked for.
The two men also discussed Iran's nuclear ambitions, with Ryan charging that Tehran has grown closer to developing a nuclear weapons capability, a charge Biden dismissed.
They say the military option's on the table, but it's not being viewed as credible. And the key is to do this peacefully, is to make sure that we have credibility. Under a Romney administration, we will have credibility on this issue.
These are the most crippling sanctions in the history of sanctions, period. When Governor Romney's asked about it, he said, we got to keep these sanctions. When you say, well, you're talking about doing more, what you're going to go to war? Is that what you want to do now?
We want to prevent war.
The interesting thing is how they're going to prevent war. How are they going to prevent war? They say there's nothing more that they say we should do than what we've already done.
The conflict in Syria also drew attention as Biden responded to criticisms from both Ryan and Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney that the United States has not done enough to help the rebels.
All this loose talk of my friend Governor Romney and the congressman about how we could do so much more in there. What more would they do other than put American boots in the ground? The last thing America needs is to get in another ground war in the Middle East.
Nobody is proposing to send troops to Syria, American troops. Now, let me say it this way. How would we do things differently? We wouldn't refer to Bashar Assad as a reformer when he's killing his own civilians with his Russian-provided weapons.
There was less conflict between Biden and Ryan on Afghanistan, where the U.S. combat role is slated to end by 2014.
What we don't want to do is lose the gains we've gotten.
But we are leaving. We are leaving in 2014, period.
Vice President Biden's aggressive performance is likely to excite Democrats, many of whom were discouraged by President Obama's subdued performance in last week's debate. Public opinion polls show the race has gotten tighter in the wake of Mr. Romney's strong showing in last week's debate. The president and Mr. Romney meet in their second of 3 debates on Tuesday at Hofstra University in New York. Jim Malone, VOA News, Washington.